Welcome to Heartspeak Podcast, episode 66, Entering the Dark Moon. Well, I hope you're enjoying our journey through the phases of the moon, resetting our natural rhythms. I started with the last quarter because I thought this was better than just taking you directly into the dark moon. So I hope you've appreciated my kindness. So we went through the last quarter, really refining what we've done. The balsamic moon, looking at what are we celebrating, what are we owning, and what are we letting go of. And here we are in the dark moon. And it sounds a little scary, but it truly isn't. This is the place of mystery. This is the place of the unknown. This is the place where everything is possible. And as Einstein says, if you've never known mystery, you haven't lived. So this is a time to really appreciate the beauty of who you are, the magnificence. And I wanted to start with actually helping you root yourself into this earth before I take you on this journey into mystery. So wherever you are, even if you're in your car, although I suggest you prefer to do this when you're home or in a place where you can put your feet firmly on the ground, you don't have to close your eyes. But it is best if you can, because you can focus better. Don't do that while you're driving, closing your eyes. But here we are. What I'd like you to do is to feel your feet on the ground. Close your eyes if you can. Take a few nice deep breaths. So we take a short breath in and a long out breath right down through the body. Breathing out everything that's going on in your head, in your awareness, breathing it down. And just repeat that. Short breath in, long out breath. And then again, short breath in, long out breath. And the most important thing is to stay in our body. Our body is part of Mother Earth. Mother Earth is going through her transition. So if we stay in our body, we stay with Mother Earth and we all surf the waves together. That's what we want to do. So enjoy being in your body, wherever you are, probably sitting, feel the chair around you. If you're standing, obviously just feel your feet on the ground. If you're lying, feel whatever you're lying on supporting you. Just say hello to your body, be nice to it, gentle with it. Then take your awareness to your feet, feeling your toes on the ground, and feeling your sole, the bottom of your foot on the ground. And imagine that there's a magnet on the soles of your feet and an even larger magnet in Mother Earth. And she's pulling you into her. And you want to go. This is like having the best grandmother give you a huge hug. Say, oh yes, thank you. Feel that hug, feel that support. And then develop roots from the soles of your feet into Mother Earth. And it's an even better hug, not a suffocating hug, a supportive hug, a loving hug. Surrounding your roots, surrounding you. As if you've come home like, oh, this is so much easier. Just feel the pleasant feeling of not having to do it all alone. Not having to be supermom or superwoman or superman. You can just be supported by something bigger. And now go to the end of one of your longest roots, 9 feet beneath your feet, 3 meters beneath your feet. This is your root chakra. And flowing through that root chakra is this beautiful, golden, creative serpent dragon energy. It's always been there. It always will be there. It's eternal. It never runs out. And knowing that energy's there, just for a moment, I'll let you draw some of that beautiful energy up through your roots, up through your body. Just shower out around you like a beautiful golden bubble. And then making that very simple just for now, just so you can feel rooted, held, connected before we move on. So if you now gently bring your awareness back to the room where you are, keeping your feet on the ground, keeping yourself rooted, I can now tell you a story. I feel like I'm a storyteller here. Once upon a time, there were people who were highly creative, people who came onto this planet to draw this energy, this creative energy, into their beingness and create whatever they wanted on this planet. And they did so. And they created everything that we see around us has been created by our connection to this dragon energy beneath our feet and the inspiration that it brings us. And then there were things that we liked and we said, wow, that's so brilliant. Look at me, I created that. And then there were things we didn't like. Oh, I didn't create that. That's nothing to do with me. And as I've mentioned, we are at this point where we are owning all our creations of maybe 26,000 years. And we're also realizing that we are not our creations. Our creations, as I mentioned last time, are just showing us who we are. But there came a time, and I'm not wanting to blame anyone, but let's say about 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, when we were told that we were not the creators, that there was something outside us that created our world. And it became something that we had to please. You know, in other words, to have an easy life, we had to please this entity, this deity. And what happened was that instead of the deity connecting us to this wonderful creative energy, we became disconnected from it. And we became disconnected from what I'm calling the root chakra. This is the chakra underneath our feet. If you've called the base chakra, the one at the base of the spine, the root chakra, please start calling that the base chakra, the other the root chakra. So the root chakra under your feet, base chakra, base of your spine. And what happened about 3,500 years ago, we got cut off from that root chakra. And if we see that root chakra as having a sort of serpentine dragon energy, i.e. fire and movement and a sense of eternity, then we got cut off from the dragon and the serpent. And that dragon serpent energy was cut down by stories that we've heard, George and the Dragon, other stories, Marduk destroyed the dragon. I see the dragon culture in Japan. Again, someone destroyed the dragon. So if you look at your own culture, what are the stories about the dragon and the serpent? Yeah, especially in Ireland, St. Patrick went in there and killed all the serpents. That's the mythology there, the serpent being bad. It's the one that told Eve to eat the apple, and only if she hadn't eaten the apple, we'd all be fine. That's not entirely true, but she was given the message, if you were brought up with that mythology, that if you eat of the fruit of good and evil, you will die. And what the serpent said to her said, no, if you eat of that fruit, if you acknowledge the duality that lives inside you, you actually will have eternal life. And that's why she ate the apple. But the deity of that time, we'll call them Lord God, actually was so angry that she would defy him and actually see herself as eternal, that the message was, then we will be punished. Now, you might be like, what is she talking about? I'm suggesting to you that there were deities, and I'll call them that, gods, goddesses, who around 3,500 years ago did not want humans to be connected to their divineness, their eternity. And that over this period of time, and maybe even longer, but this is a period of time that's maybe we can get our heads around, we got cut off from our root chakra. Our root chakra is our connection to the eternal source of creativity. And at the same time, our own eternal source, our own eternal source of uniqueness. So I'm sure you've all had those moments where you've maybe looked at the stars, or maybe you've been out in nature, or you've fallen in love, and there's an eternity, isn't there? It's like time doesn't exist. It's as if, hang on a minute, I know this was what I was doing, but suddenly I'm much bigger than what I thought I was, or my doingness. That's this dark moon time, this connection to our bigness, our connection to our eternity. And I don't really want to talk about it from a sort of spiritual point of view. I'm talking about it as a heart-centered experience. That is spiritual, but it's not a head-centered. So have you had times where your heart just expanded and it was like, I don't care what else is going on in the world, I just feel I'm one with everything. I've done that many a time, watching rainbows, or watching sunsets or sunrises, or looking out to the stars, or being with my lovely husband, or being with friends. There's that feeling of, this doesn't have boundaries. This is the magic of being human. Am I talking to you? I hope so. I hope I hear your comments about when you feel this expandedness. And that's that connection to something that's bigger than you. And we connect to that through our root chakra, through our heart, through our crown chakra in particular. So here we are 3,500 years ago, and I can say the patriarchy, we'll call them that, but it wasn't just masculine, or I should say it wasn't just men, it was masculine energy came in and said, no, we're not having people being able to be uniquely, divinely led by their own creativity. We need to control them. And so we got cut off from that source, that root chakra, that source of creativity. And our security, instead of coming from rooting ourselves into Mother Earth, was now coming from the base chakra. And the base chakra was never meant to be the source of our existence, the source of our security, but it became that. And what happened, the base chakra is all about ancestral messages, ancestral energy, pilot light, if you want to call it. What is the fire that lights you every day? Very much led to what was the fire that your ancestors passed down to you. But it was also what were the rules in which you landed into. And these rules are what I would be interested in, because they define our mythology. So what's the story you've been told? What were you told? And you'd say, well, I don't know. Well, what is it you tell your own children? What is it you say to yourself? Because whatever it is you tell others, it's probably what you say to yourself. Do you have rules about working hard? I do. I come from quite a workaholic family. Do what you need to do before you do what you want to do. Or the devil makes work for idle hands. What did your family talk about money? My family were very much, save money for the rainy day. Does that rainy day ever come? No, but you must never ever, use that money you're saving. Or my messages in my money side is, you'll always have enough, but never more than enough. And I see that playing out. Maybe you have messages about what it is to be a woman, what it is to be a man. These rules come from your ancestors. Again, good to look back and say, what is it my family were telling me? They are part of the base chakra. But beyond your ancestral rules, your rules and your family rules, you have cultural, religious, country, whatever it is. What are the rules that rule your culture, your religion? And then we have rules that define us as humans. This is what you need to do. This is what it means to be human. And by tying us into these rules, we got tied into a false world, a world that was made up of this is what you need to do. And the more we paid attention to what we were told we needed to do, the stronger those rules became. You've heard me talk about holograms. Go back to that podcast if you haven't seen it or listened to it. But a hologram is just literally a stage that is set by us constantly playing into it. So the more we focus on the fear around the virus, the more we create the fear around the virus. The more we create the virus, the more we say, I feel helpless and only central government can help me, or a big organization health organization can help me, the less power we have. So it's that sort of the base chakra is like the big parent, the nanny state. Big brother is watching you. And anytime you choose to leave that place, you get shamed or guilt tripped or told that, how dare you, you're letting down people, you're letting down your family, you shouldn't be doing this. And that level of shame is happening now. Don't you dare go outside your home, because if you do, you're letting down all of those inside the home and you're going to threaten all those outside the home. That sense of, no, you have to fit in. And I like to tell a story of when you know that you can't fit in anymore. And I'm sure everybody listening is part of that. There may be a time where you listened to my podcast, or you went on a seminar, or you read a book, and it was like going to the edges of the kingdom where you lived. And you looked above the parapet of that kingdom and you went, oh my goodness, there's a whole world out there that I haven't seen. And you run back to your family or to your tribe and you go, oh, guess what? And they all go, shh, don't talk about that. Some of them disbelieved you, some of them made fun of you, some of them shamed you to be quiet. But whatever you did, you were put back in your box. Because in a tribal situation, in a base chakra tribe, the tribe is only as strong as the number of people who believe it. Does that make sense? So if everybody believes the same thing, then our tribe is strong. But heaven forbid that somebody might either leave the tribe, which makes it weaker, or show another side. And I believe the people around you and the people listening to me now you are the pioneers, you are the innovators, you are the people who are willing to step out and say, there is another world. And what happens is, once you've looked at that other world, once you've tasted that freedom, and I'm not freedom away from everybody, a freedom to think for yourself, you can't keep it shut anymore. Have you found that? So the next thing we do is we try and persuade our family to move with us. So maybe you buy them books, or you take them to seminars, or you keep talking about something, and you think, well, as long as my tribe moves with me, I'm fine. But many times they don't want to move with you. They're quite happy where they are. And you actually realize they haven't got the eyes to see what you see, or the heart to expand into mystery. So there's a point where you realize that the tribe isn't going to move. And maybe you even play the game where you keep wearing different hats in terms of, well, when I'm at work, I never talk about that. Or when I'm at home, I never talk about that. And you're now feeling so schizophrenic, you don't know who you are. And so this is a time of integration. This is a time to bring home all the parts of you, some of which you've abandoned. You've said, I can't be that because it doesn't fit into the tribe. Now I need you to bring it home. I need you to be as crazy as you want to be. I want you to be as unique as you are. And I want to tell you, most people won't understand you. So forget trying to be understood. Don't waste your energy on those who cannot see or don't want to. Now, I hope I'm giving you hope here, because this is not about becoming rejected and isolated. This is becoming connected. This is what the dark moon's about. So in this world, we are in a point now where you may notice, so Capricorn is about the structure, all right? But it's also about wholeness. So when Saturn, it has been in Capricorn, it's just moved into Aquarius, but it will go back into Capricorn during this year, 2020. And what's happening is you're feeling the tightening of the screws. I can't say it any stronger. More and more fear is being put out there. More and more, trust us, we'll take care of you. More and more, oh my goodness, you haven't got enough money. So all the things that bring us security, health, money, valuing ourselves in having a job, friendship, are all being taken away from us. So please don't look at the virus as being the problem. It's what the effects of the virus are. It's very cleverly showing us or isolating us from the things that make us essential, that give us security. And the overriding story is, don't worry, we'll take care of you. We'll make money for you. We'll make sure you don't starve. Well, if you do starve, okay, but we've been very generous. We gave you a little bit of money to start with. Or we'll give you some different medicines, but hey, we don't have many. So, hey, sorry if we don't have enough for you. You're just too sick or you're not valuable enough. So what's happening is those who can thrive through this are seen as the survivors, and those who can't, well, we tried our best. And I don't believe that's true of anybody. Everybody is a survivor. Everybody's a thriver. And we do it not by, I'm saying, trusting that other people are going to come and save us. We are the ones we're waiting for. I've got to say, I appreciate that there are many spirits out there of different sorts who are there helping us, but they're helping us to wake up to who we are. We are the angels. We are the ETs. We are the messiahs. We are the gurus. Wake up to who we are. And that's why in 2012, that's what happened. The veils between the dimensions fell away. So that what happened there was that we suddenly saw who we were. It was, I know that many people are talking about Chicken Little and how the sky fell. Well, the sky falling was very much about the veils falling away. Some of you don't know who Chicken Little is, but I was always fascinated as a child about this story about the sky falling. I didn't know why, but it just felt like, well, who put the sky there in the first place? I was one of those kids. Why do we think there's a sky? So what I want to say is the sky fell. If you want to see it like the holographic bubble burst, all right? Suddenly, we're, after 2012, seeing that we're much more than this insular world in which we've been held for over 3,000 years. That there is something beyond this. And the powers that be that would prefer that we stay within the bubble are scrambling to create more rules, more structures, more ways in which we are held. And that's why this problem's happening. And what we're being given the chance to do is to say, you actually do not control my life. So when I hear people saying, I'm so anxious about the virus, I keep asking, what makes you anxious? I mean, what are you worried about? I might die. And I know I've said this before, you're going to die, but it's your choice. When, who, how. I shouldn't say who, but the how. And then you say, well, I might infect my whole family. You are powerful, but not that powerful. Their choice is their choice. We're being put in a place where we have this free-floating anxiety that we're not always able to put a label on. And that's why I said, put your roots into the ground first. Root yourself. Then experience, when have I felt whole? Watching a sunset, watching a sunrise, looking at something beautiful. Keep bringing to yourself that connectivity. And finally, I'm going to do a meditation with you. Before I do that, this is the dark moon time. In England, back in, I think it was the 60s, late 60s, 70s, there was a series called The Prisoner. Some of you who are as old as I am may remember The Prisoner. And it was about a man who found himself in this beautiful setting where everything you needed was there, but he knew he wasn't meant to be there. He wanted freedom. And every time he tried to get away, this huge bubble brought him back, which is very symbolic of us being brought back into the bubble. And he kept saying, I'm not a number, I'm a person. And I want you to fight. I want you to realize that what we're seeing now is not a huge, how can I put this? It's just a bubble. If you could look down on what's going on at the earth at the moment, it is just almost a small part of what it is to be human. You are much, much more than this two-legged, two-eyed person wandering around. You are much more. And it's not to say, oh yes, I'm an angel. I mean, what can I say? You're much more on this planet. It's not to say, I'm not saying you're not an angel, but you're an angel on this planet. You're an ET on this planet. You are whatever it is on this planet. I don't want you floating out. I want you staying in and becoming big. Because this planet doesn't actually exist as we see it. Again, it's a hologram. But if you see it as a living, flowing source of energy, and which allows us to access our multidimensionality. That may be big words to you, but what I'm saying is this planet is not this round thing that we see with trees and we walk amongst the trees. It's literally a source of inspiration. One time in a meditation, I looked down on the planet and it was this bubbling blue energy coming out of it. And I was just amazed. And it was just constantly telling me, I am what you think I am. What can I say? You keep creating. Okay, let me stop there. If this is the planet is just a source of creation, it's constantly changing based on what we are thinking and what we are feeling. That's what I want to say. So if you want to change this planet, change your thinking and feeling, but don't just do it like, oh, I want to think differently. First, root yourself in who you are and become different. Break out of the bubble that everybody's told you who you are. In many ways, the best way of working with the dark moon is saying, I don't know who I am. I have no clue who I am. Rather than, oh, I'm this, but I'm becoming this. I want you to dive into the dark moon and say, I haven't got a clue. So, coming back to the first day of the dark moon, which is the day before the new moon, and you want to find this time on your calendar. I'm giving you these 3.5 days around the new moon, but the new moon on your calendar or your app is often seen as a dark circle. Wherever you are in the world, find that time in your part of the world. The day before is the first day of the dark moon. Okay, second day is the new moon day, and the third day is the day after. I might not have used the word new moon, I meant to use that. The new moon is defined as the dark circle on your calendar. Find when that is, mark it into your calendar, on your app, whatever you're using, so that wherever you are in the world, you can follow me through. All right? So the day before the new moon, this first day of the dark moon, you want to take all those things that you wrote for the balsamic moon. What am I celebrating? What have I learned about myself? What have I experienced of myself? And you want to put them on a list, and at sunset or just after, depending where you are, put your hands around a glass of water, infuse into that water everything you're ready to let go of. And I would say to you, let go of everything. If it's gold, it will come back to you. In other words, you're saying, let me let go of all these identities, these rules, these roles, just like I don't know who I am. That's real courage, and I encourage you to do that. So go out at the darkness, you stand on Mother Earth, you root yourself as we've already done, and you read out your list and you say, I'm celebrating this. Place your hand on your heart. What I've learned about myself is this. I embrace into my heart these parts of myself. And then you pour the water onto the earth and you say, I'm releasing all of this. Great Mother, take this, transform it, and then you say, I am empty. All right? The I am empty is like washing away all the parts of you that keep you separate, or washing away all the stories, the beliefs. That's why this is a time of release, of cleansing, clearing. You're not dirty, you've become separated. So when you're doing this, you're literally as if you were diving into a pool of water and just saying, wash away everything that is not my eternal self. Make sense? And that's why it's such a powerful time, because anybody who gets caught up in you at this time is going to be washed away as well. So that's why often it's a good time to keep yourself a little separate from people who don't want to be cleansed. Now, at the end of that, at the end of your emptying, root yourself, take yourself to bed. Second day is the day of connection, and I'm going to do a meditation to help you with that connection. Third day is the day of inspiration. The day after the new moon is the day of inspiration. And we'll be looking at that inspiration after the dark moon. So as we get into the true next essence, we'll be looking at that. And let me just say, when you connect, you're connecting to this source of eternal knowledge. Again, if you haven't seen this or listened to this podcast, go back to when I talk about dragon energy. Running beneath our feet in this dragon energy, in this flow of creativity, is pure consciousness, pure knowingness. It's the blueprint of everything that could ever be created on this planet. And that when we connect to that, and we connect to our heart, which knows our own unique journey, connecting to our heart means that when we enter into that ocean of possibilities, we naturally will draw into ourselves those things that resonate with us. And that's what we call inspiration. We resonate with something true to us, and we then, at the beginning of that, after the dark moon, after the new moon, we plan to bring that into existence. And we'll do that in 3.5 days' time. But truly, what we need to be able to do is to empty ourselves first. Because if you're full of ideas of who you think you are, then there's no room for anything else. So I wanted to tell you the mythology of who you think you are probably is formulated from the base chakra, not from the root chakra. Please keep rooting into the root chakra. That's your truth, not the base chakra. And recognize that the base chakra has been fine, but it doesn't exist for you anymore. And you no longer want to be told how to do things. You're willing to be accountable for your own journey. You're willing to follow your own rules from your heart, from your wholeness, from the Capricorn energy that's also coming through you. So we're breaking down the rules that are false or have kept us trapped and entering into, literally, they're called divine rules, the divine laws. We're flowing with something that's much bigger than us. And again, I'm not talking about divine necessarily as a god, or I don't want to give it names. I'm just saying is when you connect in a way that is the divine flow of energy. And when you're in there, you will be inspired, not from just a small part of you, but the part of you that wants to experience its wholeness. All right? Let's do this meditation. Let's do it if you're ready for me. So please, again, don't do this unless you're in a place where you can relax. Closing your eyes. Take a short breath in, long breath out. Do that a few times to bring yourself into your body. Beautiful. Take yourself to your heart chakra, center of your chest. Through your heart chakra, see yourself standing by a tree. And this is a beautiful tree. It's a very old tree. It's a very rooted tree. And the trunk is larger than you are. Some of you might have to expand your tree. Because here you see a door in the trunk of your tree. And you open that door, you pass through the opening, and you find yourself descending, sliding down the roots of the tree. swinging down the roots of the tree, whatever you want to do, climbing down. Deeper and deeper. Deeper and deeper. And then you fall into a space, a vast space. It may be a space that you see as beneath the earth, within the earth. But for some of you, you might find yourself, you fall into space that looks like it's nature above the earth. Wherever you are, let it be right. Wherever you look around you, where are you? And you see there's a river, golden river flowing through your place. And you see there are beings, and I'm going to call them beings. They may be human, they may be angelic, they may be ETs, you may not even recognize them. They may be little people who live within the earth. They may be elementals, such as fairies. But they look up at you as you arrive and go, oh, she's arrived, he's arrived. Welcome. And you can see that they're drinking of this golden river. They're refreshing themselves. You see their bodies change as they do so. And they're not hoarding, they're not grasping, they're just enjoying. And you too go up and you drink of this water. It feels like every cell has come alight. And you look around and maybe there are people, beings that you recognize. But there's an eternity to them. Without fear of death, because it's almost like they're saying, we dive into this ocean, we come out, just like the moon. We know that there's going to be a time where we drink from this, and then a time we move out from it and we come back to it. We have no fear. And they say that they are here to be with you, to teach you your eternal wisdom. Who are you? And again, try not this to be in words. Maybe it be in symbols, maybe in sounds. Because as soon as we hear words, we sometimes trap ourselves back into a human existence that limits us. Who are you? And you see there are many, many beings here. And you see that above the earth, there are many people who have disconnected from this source, who are lonely, frightened, who have forgotten. They're following the rules. They're being told what to do, how to feel. They're living in fear or shame. And with only through your heart, imagine that you could take some of this golden light and just wrap those you love, those who are in fear, those who are lonely, those who are being hurt during this time, those who are dying, those who are struggling. Wrap them in this golden light, like a golden blanket, that they may remember who they are, that they may too, rather than trying to leave the planet, join you down in the center of who she is. In other words, let them find themselves and make the choice what they choose to do. Connect them to something bigger, something more important. And let that be their choice then as to whether they leave the planet, stay on it, but they're coming from a place of power, not powerlessness. So you may remain down here or come back here, perhaps I want to say, as often as you like. Perhaps though, just to complete for today, We take a last drink of this beautiful water. We head back up along the roots of the tree. We come out the door. We stand once again on the earth. And then we gently let that vision fade us. And we bring our awareness fully back into the room where we are, or the place that we are. We open our eyes. Please, you can visit that place anytime. Make of it as you will. I'd love to hear your comments, whether you write those on YouTube or whether you write them in Facebook, on the Great Mother Calling group, or you share them with other people. This is a time to connect. This is a time to be expansive. And until next time, I send you love and blessings. Bye-bye now.
Thanks for listening to the HeartSpeak podcast with Dr. Christine Page. Please check out all HeartSpeak episodes in the podcast archive section on www.christinepage.com. HeartSpeak is also available on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, and now playing on iHeartRadio. You can also watch the archive podcasts on YouTube. Connect with Christine on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, including her newest Facebook group, The Great Mother Calling. Please do share with friends, family, and colleagues. Join us next time for another edition of HeartSpeak.